Alright, hello everybody. My name is William Fleming and I'm a game development student at Full Sail University. And for class this month, DES3, we are working in a project called Scraps. And for this first sort of personal showcase, we've been asked to introduce a mechanic to the project. So we were shown how to produce a pressure plate and a door that it triggers. So I sort of expanded on that, but then I've also personally introduced this laser mechanic here. So I've got an emitter piece here in the wall shooting out this laser beam, which is currently being blocked from reaching this target here. So these are interactable blocks here. If we actually, I'm going to do this because it's a lot of fun just to see the physics kind of freak out. But when you pick up that block, the laser can now hit the target. It changes the color of the target. Door goes up, so you get plenty of positive visual feedback there. Here you might be able to see there's another emitter in the wall there. Don't currently have anything until you stand on this platform. You can see that goes through the door to the target, and if you step off, it blocks that again. And you might be able to see, in this case, you can see the door over here. But if we go pick up a block again, not get caught on the wall, put it down, we can go through, but we can see over here the door is still blocked. If we kind of look around, there's another platform. Again, that will release the door, so we know that we need to block that laser somehow. And this door is now blocked by that, so if we were to pick that up, so we got to keep that one held down. We may have just caught a glimpse of a couple more boxes hidden back here, so we'll pick one of those up and just use that to block the laser, and now we can get out. So there's a lot that can still be expanded on this. I think this is a pretty good starting point. There's a lot more I really want to do with it. We'll see if that's part of the project or not. But let's go ahead and get out of here and take a look at the blueprints for how this works. So again, we've got sort of the spawner or emitter. This is the first of the blueprints I made. It just a simple cylinder that can be stuck anywhere in the environment. In the event graph here, on begin play, it checks to see if the emitter is on. We can set that. That is instance editable, and my cursor is gone, so let's see. Well, that's fun. Alright, well, I'm not going to be able to select those too easily, but it is instance editable. I can show that over here. And then it fires the laser if it's meant to be on. What that will do is spawn the next blueprint that we'll look at here based on the location of the cylinder as well as the direction that this arrow component is pointing. And then if it is triggered to either turn that laser on or off by the platforms or buttons or anything else that we'd be putting in, again, it'll check to see if it's already on or off. If it's already on, it'll destroy the laser that's being produced and set it to off. Likewise, if it starts off, it'll fire one and set it to on. Going over to the laser itself, again, in the viewpoint here, we've got cylinder with this sort of laser pointer material. The event graph on tick when this is active, when this laser is in place, it is starting from, again, where that arrow is in pointing in a direction. We've got a default range here that can be adjusted based on what seems appropriate. And then it is using a line trace to measure if it hits anything. If it does, adding just a little bit to make sure it fully enters into the mesh. I was playing around with it earlier and noticed it was hitting and making collision, but because of the blunt end of the cylinder, if it was at an oblique angle, there was a gap there. So this is just to kind of cover that. Make it a scalar, and then set the scale, the Z scale of this cylinder, so how long, how tall that cylinder is, but in whatever direction the up is facing, based on whether it's hitting anything, which would be A, or not, and A is coming from the hit distance from whatever that line trace hits. If it's not hitting anything, then it just goes our default distance. And then for the targets, Here, there's actually nothing in this viewport. Let's see if I can manage to figure this out here. Cool, there we go. So I have the mesh itself set to be instance editable, so that if you wanted to change this for any reason in the editor for different target types, that is easy to do. On the construction graph, that's where I set that mesh, made it a variable. I also set a starting material so that they all at least look consistent every time, even if they're different shapes. In the event graph here, this is very similar to the pressure plate that we were kind of walked through, but it's going to start activating when a laser interacts with the static mesh of the target. It'll set the material to show that active, so if you notice when I was playing, it went from blue to green, and then it triggers the interaction feedback. Likewise, when it ends, it's going to set the material back to blue, which is our inactive, and then trigger the feedback. The feedback is going to take whatever, here it's called triggerables. This was from the pre-built parent interactive base for this blueprint. It's going to check each element that it's tied to, and then if it's a door, it'll open or close the door depending on whether it's already open or not, and likewise it'll trigger the laser to turn on or off if it's attached to one of those. So that is kind of the basics of how I have this working. Again, there's a lot more that I'd like to do. I'd like to be able to make some of those interactive blocks, ones that you can pick up and place in the laser to redirect it instead of just blocking it. Yeah, so we'll see what this month has in store, but that should do it for now. So thanks for checking in, and see what's up for us next.